Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and in this video we're going to go over the June 18 update maintenance notice and also the kit reveal for both beta and cherry lab. We're going to start with the update maintenance. We already covered most of the things that are going to be implemented in the dev notes video, but still we're going to quickly mention them as well here. If you want more details, feel free to refer to the dev notes video again. So yeah. We have the usual 1000 suspension, fine, no surprises there. We have two new units, SSR Plus Beta and SSR Cherila. We're going to, again, talk about them in a second. Now for the actual content is going to be implemented, we have the expansion of Adventure, so 5 new floors. No surprises, that's always the case. We have the monthly expansion of Trial of Chaos and Trial of Origin. We also have an expansion on Shinsu Links. The previous cap was 1500, now it's been expanded. I think it's because they couldn't complete the new system in time, so they decided to temporarily expand on the links, and they're going to implement the system maybe in 1 or 2 months. I don't know, hopefully for anniversary, but I think they're gonna wait for like August or September. We'll see. We have the new content schedule system in game that lets you see which events are running. Fine, doesn't really matter, I think. Then we have the ignition weapon revamp for Bergamot and Myeongol. That's interesting. I'm going to comment that in a second once we get to that point a bit below. And we also have the ignition weapon refining and dismantling system. And that's going to be really dope because you can now re-roll the substats on an ignition weapon piece. And if they're not too expensive, like in terms of acquiring the dice that you need to reroll the ignition weapons, it could really be a well implemented system and pretty good. But again, if they're hard to acquire, it could be annoying. But I don't think they're going to mess this one up. I think it's going to be fairly valuable. So okay. And at the end of the day, it's always RNG. Obviously, if you're rerolling pieces, they might get worse than what they are to begin with. Also, they removed the report tab from the bag, and now they added the amplification tab. Okay. They also added the buttons for dismantling, refining, and fusing in the ignition weapon tab of the bag. That's good. And for event boss battle and the weekend boss battles, they added multi-decks. So we're going to like fight with multiple teams. And I don't know if that's gonna be good or if it's just gonna be two teams instead of one with no changes. I hope they at least change maybe what you need to set up for the two phases. Because if it's just the same in the two, you just need to deploy your highest hitting team, could be annoying or could just be nothing special. But if they require you to deploy different teams to counter different mechanics in the two phases, that could be pretty good. Then we have the events, we have the Memorial Pocket with the associated race. We have Yellowy Bingo Time, not that big of a fan of that event, but it's still free stuff, so I'm not gonna say no. We have the Tap Tap Plus event as well. We have the Workshop Melting Forge. They are spamming it lately, like it's getting released super frequently. And I don't even think I have a lot of stuff to break this time around. So we'll see. I don't know you guys if you have enough to actually use this event, but they might as well just implement it and that's it, like as a fixed event instead of re-adding it once a month or something. It makes no sense. Just add it permanent and refresh the shop every month or something. I don't know. It's just annoying to see it as a new event every time. Then we have the ignition weapon raid tab. Is probably only for Bergamot and Myeongol, since they are the two ignition weapons being buffed. Then we have the trial and mission as usual. We have the boost missions for the two new units. We have Kiseiya as the event boss battle, and Hiwayon and Joaquin as the weekend bosses. For Alliance content, we have the fleet battle and the expedition. Cool. And as the story campaign, we have the kind of Garam and Urek one, if I remember correctly. That's okay. I definitely prefer the exchange shop of a story campaign compared to that shit that we get with Emily Talk. So yeah, definitely excited for that. And we have the summons, obviously for Beta and Charila, no surprises. We have new bundles, we never know what they are, but I'd like to just mention them. And then we have a revamp of Myeongol and Bergamot. I already mentioned in dev notes that I kind of like the Miongo rework and I have high expectations for it. I will definitely try mostly 4 units: Araka, Yasracha, then regular Yuri and Yama. Those 4 units I think are going to be the ones that benefit the most out of this set, so we'll try them first. Then obviously also the other ones, but those ones I'm quite optimistic about. For Bergamot, I don't have expectations. I think that's still gonna suck. Maybe for PvP it could come in handy at times, but I don't think so. I really don't like that set, even after the changes. Then we have content unlock condition change. Now, instead of unlocking everything very soon, they're going to delay some content a little bit. I don't know why they would do that. I mean, I guess if you start as a new player, you get a lot of pop-ups and new systems unlocked in a very short period of time, but that's not a problem. I mean, why delaying it? It makes no sense. But okay. Then they expanded the stage jump section. Before it was up to floor 15, now it's up to floor 50. So that's really a lot of floors that you can clear using the stage jump, and that's good. Now we have some improvement to Alliance Split Battle. I don't really care too much, but okay, they're going to increase the maximum storage of the floating ship cores and also increase the required contribution, probably for leveling up. I don't know, we'll see. And that's all. The only other thing they did is discontinue some packs here. Doesn't matter, I think they were all trash anyway and shouldn't have bought them. So yeah, if you did, I'm sorry, but okay. And now I think we can go over the new units. So here we have Charila. She's going to be a red SSR unit. We already saw in the dev notes like a bit of information on this unit. And now let's have a quick look at the actual animations, and then we're going to read what they shared with us for the kit. So we have some tornadoes, fine. Red mage with controller. So she's going to summon some small tornadoes and knock enemies up. Then we have a buff for another unit and herself, and an AoE knock up or airborne, however you want to call it. I think it's pretty basic in terms of animations and design, but I mean it's a irrelevant SSR unit, so that was kind of expected. Now let's go over the passive first, and then we're going to move our way up. For the passive, she's going to increase movement speed of all allies for duration. That could be good if this actually allows units to reach the enemy half of the battlefield a bit more quickly and keep enemies there instead of having the enemies move forward towards your like half of the battlefield. So this could be decent or could just be irrelevant. And if the target is also a red element unit, then their swiftness is going to be increased. I'm expecting this number probably to be a bit low and disappointing, like 20 or even 10. Probably 10 is too little, but 20 could be a thing. We'll see. Not too optimistic. And every time she uses a special move, she's also going to increase the attack of both herself and the highest attack ally. That's pretty good if the stacks are decent in number, maybe low in number actually, and the percentage here is pretty high. We'll see. If it's the other way around, so this percentage is low, but this number of stacks is high, could be annoying because you have to cast a special move for it to stack, and enemies could remove it. Could be pretty hard to keep up. So if it's like 3 stacks and this is an 80% per stack, that could be decent. If it's, I don't know, like 30% here and 8 stacks, could be pretty trash. We'll see. Then we have the active skill. This one is going to buff herself and the highest attack ally, and is going to give them sort of an evasion for enemy skills up to a number of times. Pretty cool. It's similar to Albelda, but Albelda also blocks basic attacks, if I remember correctly. And she's also going to increase evasion by a number for duration. I'm not that big of a fan of this, but can work. I guess it's fine. But yeah, not really that big of a fan. Then we have the other active skill is just going to summon 5 small tornadoes on the battlefield randomly in random positions for a duration. And when enemies collide with these tornadoes, they're going to be knocked up, so sent airborne, and will take damage. That's all it does. Pretty simple, maybe disappointing, but they might add more stuff to them with the exclusive equipment or revolution even. So we'll see what happens. Then we have the special move, one of the core abilities, maybe. And she's going to fall into deep sleep for a number of seconds, probably 2, 3, 4 seconds, I don't know. And when she wakes up, she's going to create a tornado that is going to target the highest attack enemy, dealing damage and sending them airborne for a duration. The tornado is also going to follow the target for a number of seconds, dealing damage and reducing red element resistance by a percentage for a duration with a maximum number of stacks. When this maximum number of stacks are reached, she is said to be dealing max HP damage. That's probably going to be either on the exclusive equipment or evolution, because obviously we don't have that information. But they said max HP is in our kit, so that's where it's gonna be. And I think it's going to be a max HP damage like Vivi, because SSR units don't really have that type of damage. They only deal attack percent, except for, again, Vivi and this new unit here. And Vivi has a cap on how much damage she can deal with the max HP scaling, and I think the same is gonna happen Paradigm, especially because this one is also AoE, contrary to what Vivi has, that is a single target. So even more so of a reason to actually cap the max HP portion of it. We'll see. Again, we don't have a lot of information, but we'll find out on the day of the update. Then we have Beta. So this guy is the SSR Plus unit for this update. And he's also a red unit. He's a red assassin. We're going to see the video and then comment on the actual kit. So here we have it.
Look closely at this weapon.
Again, red assassin with controller. We have one active skill that is going to group enemies up a little bit after a charge up, and then a sort of dash that is going to stomp on enemies and knock them down. And an AoE attack that seems to have the same areas like Revolution Bomb, also the same aesthetic for the actual area of effect. Okay, and here is the animation. Pretty dope, so that's good. Okay, now let's start from the passive and move our way up also in this case. So the passive has an interesting effect. So the first time it drops to 1 or below, I think is going to be, so 1 HP or below, is going to removal debuff, enter, and enter is maximum output state for a duration. And while in this state, his HP is fixed at the number, so at 1 likely. So it cannot be healed, I would say. It's just going to stay at 1 HP for the duration. And if he attacks the enemy with any skill, he instantly destroys the target barrier and deals additional damage equal to a percentage of his attack. Now, this is important for red trials because we have to face a lot of Urex, and having a barrier break in red is pretty massive. So, definitely a good thing. But considering he has this sort of immortality, it could be good even at 0 dupes, at least for this purpose here. We'll see how long this duration is going to be. I'm expecting 10 second. I don't know if it's going to be 10 second level 5, so 3 red, or well, 1 red, or if it's going to be 10 second period. Because if it's 10 second on level 5, then it's going to be 5 second on level 1. It's kind of trash, but we'll see. And additionally, the duration is increased by a number of seconds whenever he assists in eliminating enemies while he's in this state. So good. There is the potential for this state to last quite long, and I'm hoping for a 10-second start and a 10-second increase on every kill. We'll see, but it could be pretty good. Then we have the first active skill. Is going to teleport to the enemy with the lowest defense, slamming down and dealing AoE damage, and knocking them down for a duration. Okay. He's also immune to status effect while using the skill. I think this one is going to be the first skill that he uses. So the movement speed provided by Cherry La might not be that helpful, but yeah, definitely okay. Could potentially run Rihanna, but I'm not so sure. I mean, it doesn't need Barry for survivability, so Barry is a bad set on him. But I don't know if I would be running Rihanna either. We'll see. Then we have the other active skill is going to enhance himself, increasing his own magic pierce by percentage for duration. Okay. And then he's going to strike the ground in a pretty small AoE from what we saw in the video and pulling enemies in range. So they're going to pull enemies that are close by and have them stick together a little bit more. So that's okay, it's a bit of grouping, but I don't think it's going to be a grouping that you can rely on that effectively. Then we have the special move that is going to become invincible and ignite his ignition weapon or himself, whatever. And then he's going to fire a laser a number of times to enemies in range, making them airborne on the last hit. That's again very similar to Revolution Bomb. Revolution Bomb has a damage over time effect that it leaves on the ground. This guy doesn't, but it's pretty much the same. And when he's using the skill, his attack is going to be increased for every percentage of HP lost. I don't know how high this one is going to be. Hopefully enough. But yeah, the fact that he's fixed at 1 HP with a passive is going to be really helpful for this part. So this increase will not be neglected and will probably be up a lot of times. And yeah, that's all we know of his kit. I think it's pretty basic, maybe a bit too basic, but there is potential. If he can actually deal some relevant amount of damage, then it could be a really good DPS to have. If he has a long sort of like a long immortality, it could still act as a utility unit, even low dupes. So there is also that potential there. Overall, I think it could end up being decent. Obviously, guys, you have to pay attention because anniversary is coming. So you want to save up your resources to be able to pull for the next EX unit. But yeah, for everyone else that has a lot of resources and is in desperate need of a red DPS, this guy could potentially be good. Again, we'll have to wait, but I think the base kit is a bit underwhelming if you want to say that, but the potential is there. It can definitely get a lot better with Revolution and Exclusive Equipment. So I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, guys, I would say that's all for this video. Let me know in the comments how you feel about these two units and the update as well. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.